You know, just a very disappointing, gut-wrenching defeat Saturday night. To be defeated in that type of manner is tougher than getting beat by 100. You know, I tell you, it's been a bitter pill to swallow. You know, I don't want to sound like you got sour grapes or anything. I take my hat off to the coaching staff and the players at Eastern Illinois. I mean, they did what they had to do to win the game. But I think that we just did not take advantage of the opportunities to win the ball game ourselves. We had so many chances to win the ball game going away. You know, we scored 29 unanswered points. We're up 16 points in the third quarter. We had a chance there when they cut it down a little bit, to blow it back open on a fumble kickoff. We missed tackles. We didn't score in the red zone. We had to kick field goals. You know, we dropped some touchdown passes. I mean, there's countless plays that if we just make one of them, we're sitting here still talking about a lot of mistakes were made in the game, but we're a lot more excited about the mistakes that we made. So our team was very disappointed. I think they knew that they gave the game to Eastern Illinois. I say we gave the game to Eastern Illinois. I mean, for us to have that many penalties, for us to not execute like we did, for us not to tackle well, that falls on myself and our coaches, and that's some things that we have to clean up in order to move forward and continue the quest to have what hopes to be a really fine football season. So from that standpoint, it's just very disappointing in the way that we handled ourselves throughout the course of that ball game. But the positives are our kicking game was as good as it's been since I've been here. We had one mishap on the extra point, which put a damper on the entire operation, I guess you could say. But Jordan Benton played an outstanding game. He kicked great on the field goals, kicked great on the extra points. Carson Griffinkamp got injured on Thursday at practice, hurt his shoulder recovering an onside kick. So Benton had to go in and kick off and did an outstanding job. I mean, he basically, I told him the way I started was a guy in front of me got hurt, and they put me in, and I never came back out. And after that performance the other day, he'll hold both duties moving forward till he proves that he's not able to do that. So best kickoff coverage that we've had. Their average start field position after a kickoff was 19-yard line. We gave up one good one to them, and or they got one. They got out past the 30. Other than that, put them on lockdown. We punted well. The two times we punted, we had our kickoff return was outstanding. Our guys didn't quit. They played hard. We didn't play well, but we played hard. So that's a bonus. You know, you look in the overtime, all the things that happened to us. We got us 49-42. And our defense takes that high-powered offense of theirs and forces them to 2 fourth-down conversions before they got in the end zone. So from that standpoint, there are a lot of positives that we took away from the game. I think, we're extremely beat up, and I think mentally and physically as a football team. We did not practice last night. It's the first time we hadn't practiced on a Sunday since I've been the coach, but and as badly as I wanted to go to practice, I felt like that was our best chance to get our legs back underneath us so that we're ready to play this week against Tennessee Tech. You look at it, we've played a 4-game stretch. We're 1-3. You want to play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game, we could very easily be 3-1 if we do a better job tackling, we do a better job of scoring. And when we get in the scoring zones, trade field goals for touchdowns, and be a better disciplined football team. All things are correctable. All things that I have not done a good job getting corrected up to this point. But we play Florida State, we play Central Arkansas, who've proven to be pretty good. They beat the number 3 team in the country this week. Missouri State, long ride. We get back at 5:30 in the morning. Very tough physical football game. We go on the road. We get back at 3:30 in the morning this week after a 117-play offensive effort. Defensive ran over 100 plays on the defensive side of the ball. So it was time. We just needed a break, and hopefully our guys will be able to come back on Tuesday and be ready to go. And that's the reason you have no players here, because about 6 o'clock last night I told John we were not practicing, and nobody had access to the team other than me. So I apologize, but I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time. How about that, Will? All right.
Offensively, I mean, I know there were points left, but 49, gosh, you got to still be happy with that, no matter what. I mean, that's a heck of a night.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, Neil. If you had been in the offensive meeting, you would have thought that we were blanked. You really would have, which is a good thing. And our deal is right now is just like anytime you take over a program that has not had much success, you battle the same things. You battle the guys really believe in what you're coaching them to do. Do they really believe in their skills? Do they really believe that they can win, tough, close ball games on the road? And you still, I mean, we're still in the third year, but we started at such a low end. I would have hoped we would have been a little further along record-wise at this point. But, yeah, offensively, we did some good things. But, again, it goes down to we had opportunities to score touchdowns, and it was always we had a breakdown at one spot, and it wasn't the same spot all the time. And you go through every game, man. If you had made this play, if this guy does this on this play, we get a score. But I think the biggest disappointing deal with our offense is, their jobs is, I keep saying our job's to score one more point than the other team. I mean, no matter what we do on the defensive side of the ball, and we didn't do that. And I think that was the disappointing thing. You think there at the very end of the game, I mean, we got the ball second and goal at the 3. We got a great play call. Man, one guy misses a block and we don't get it in, and then we have to end up settling for the game-tying field goal. You look at they still had about 4 minutes to go in the game. We got them 3rd and long. They hit the wheel route on us. Now, defense bowed up after that, but, now we're going to get the ball back in field position, be able to move it on down. There's just critical points in the game on both sides that we have to start making those plays. And we've looked at some scheme issues. We've looked at some personnel issues, try to get some other guys on the field. When you're not successful, you look at all different phases of the operation. And what we're doing is not broke by no means. I mean, it's not broke at all. It's just we got to start doing the little things a little bit better in order to win those types of games.
Kind of mentioned last week. Is it again this week? Is it just kind of personnel that you need these defensive guys to start making plays, or are you really focusing on schematic things?
No, we're not. We're not. I shouldn't say that. I mean, we got some guys that are very talented young players on our team that don't know what to do yet, and we can't put them in the game because especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, if I want to put a young guy in the game, I put him in. I'll call a play that I know he knows how to run. I mean, like if we ever have to put KD or Spencer in the game, we have a whole different. Basically, our game plan may be this long, but if we put the backup in, we have bits and pieces of those plays that go for them that they know how to do. That they feel comfortable doing. So when I say the scheme part, what we're going to have to do is we're going to get some of these young players that are very talented, and when we put them in the game, they're just going to run one defense, or they're going to run this one coverage that they know, and they can go out there and play to get some of those guys that are good players on the field that haven't had the benefit of learning the system like they need to. Because, defensively, you call a play, they may line up in a formation, and you got to adjust to the formation. You can't dictate that. So scheme-wise, I think we're fine on both sides of the ball. We just got to make some plays. We got to make some plays. We got to tackle better, and we got to score more touchdowns.
Talked about being banged up from the game. Any more injuries in Andy right now that you kind of see?
No, well, Josh Manning is he's banged up a little bit. Again, it's early. We didn't get back. I didn't have the guys show back up to late last Sunday evening. Saw them for a second. They had treatment last night. They had treatment all throughout the course of the morning. I won't know very much on some of the guys till next few days or whatnot. But Mahoney, hopefully he comes back. I mean, you don't realize how much you miss a guy until he's gone. And Mahoney he's not a bruising blocker. He's not the best pass blocker in the whole wide world. He's not the best screen blocker in the whole wide world. You don't know, he's been starting for 3 years, and man, I never even knew he was there. And now that he's gone, boy, I sure wish he was back. And I think that's a great compliment to Andy of what a stellar player he's been for us, and not having him in that lineup has really hurt us. And because he's been a really good player, so I'm hoping we get him back this week.
Coach, you talked about this being a short week because you didn't practice last night. How does that affect your game plan with this game this weekend?
Oh, well, on Sunday we just do our base stuff that we always. It won't affect anything at all. I mean, we could not practice any Sunday night and still be fine to play, but that won't affect anything that we do.
You've had slow starts like this before. I think 1-3 right now in the kind of the first quarter of the season. I guess how do you get your players to focus on the rest of the season, kind of forget about the start?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the third year in a row we've started at 1-3, and we've rallied the past 2 seasons. And it's a combination of things. Each year we've brought a lot of new players in just because we've had to, that hadn't had the benefit of going through spring ball. Our schedule's been extremely tough. The first 4 ball games, the past couple of years have been our toughest ball games of the season. So hopefully we'll rebound a little bit. I think early on, the first couple of years, our mentality was, we were a little nervous. Man, we're actually playing for something now. And then when they felt like, well, maybe we're not playing for anything, we started playing good. So I'm hoping that we'll feel like there's no pressure on us, and we'll start going out there and playing like we're capable, of playing. And we hadn't played, super bad. But we hadn't played super good either, like we're capable of playing. I mean, the thing is, and I say this every year, we all forget that the other team, those 90 players that they want to win, okay? They got good mamas and daddies just like our boys got, and their mamas and daddies, they want them to win. Their coaches, they spend as much time as we do, and they coach their team up as hard. So a lot of times we focus on what we did bad, but I take my hat off to them. They had a great game plan, and they did some things we had not seen them do that really put us in a bind defensively. And when that type of offense gets to rolling, just like we do, it's very difficult to stop. So you got to take their hat off. They out-executed us when they needed to do that.
Looking at Tennessee Tech, how does their offense compare to the teams you've played so far?
Well, they're going to try to they're going to try to spread you out and run the ball, okay? And they play a little bit of an up-tempo, no-huddle game. They're not as quick-paced as we like to be or Eastern Illinois likes to be. Quarterback, very headsy, very elusive guy, good with his feet, extending the play, can beat you running when he needs to. But the thing that right now that they got is they may have the best player in the league in Rodgers. I mean, we haven't seen anybody. It's been a long time since I've seen a player as good as he is. And, I mean, he's the real deal. And by having him on their team, that has really added another dimension to their team. That Benton that they had last year was really, really good. This guy is really, really great. And then, again, we have never faced a guy this good. And that, I mean, they already had a good team. I mean, they're the conference champs. They got Urbano back. They got Lamb back at quarterback. They had, they're good guys that go over there and they catch about 8 balls, and you didn't, think they caught a ball the whole game. But then adding Rodgers has really made them, really made them good. I mean, the only reason they got beat last week is because they threw 2 pick sixes and turned the ball over and beat themselves. Kind of like, I'm sure Coach Brown's saying that they beat themselves. I feel like we beat ourselves. So it's going to be a big test for us, Will.
Is that an added concern, just knowing some of the deficiencies in your pass defense this week?
Yeah, I hadn't slept much. I'm Red Bulled up right now. So if I jump up and knock anything over, I didn't mean to. It's just I can't control my hands. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, and the thing is, you know, you try to double team a guy like that, you take away from the run game. And, you know, they do the same things we do, try to spread you out. And if you spread out, try to run the ball. And if you pack it on in there, you try to throw it. But they got a guy that, boy, he's good. He really is. I know he is because I was trying to get him too, and I didn't. But he decided to go play with all his teammates over there. So I know what kind of player he is.
How do you prepare your defense for a guy of that caliber? I mean, what are you telling your guys going into the week?
Just do what you're coached to do, and keep the ball in front of you, and hold on.
Coach, talk to me a little bit about how do you take a loss, such as Saturdays, and maybe work that positively, into this next week. How do you take maybe the mental toughness that you think is lacking, and how do you try to push that up and make it better for Saturday and the rest of the season?
Well, I don't think we're lacking mental toughness. I think we're lacking mental focus. You know, we're just not a very disciplined. When you put all those things together, we're not a very disciplined team. Like I said, that's the coach's fault if you're not mentally disciplined in things that you do. So we'll work on getting that squared away. You know, the biggest positive that you can take out of the game is that good thing it happened now. A lot of ball left to be played. A lot of ball, you know, and you know, chances are the top teams in the conference, you know, I mean, that I see are still on the schedule. And, you know, and I think we're good enough to beat them as we move forward, start this week, if we play like we're capable of playing. So maybe this is a wake-up call we needed. You know, maybe it's the wake-up call we needed. Glad it happened now. We move forward and finish out the season on a strong note. It's the only positive I can find.
Coach, against Missouri State, had over 100 yards of penalties. Thought that might be an anomaly. Had more than 100 this week, including 8 procedural penalties. Is that just going back to mental toughness?
Well, the procedural penalties are not very good, okay? I mean, we can't have those. I mean, those are the disappointing ones, okay? Now, some of the other ones were just, you know, were hustle penalties. Some of them I didn't agree with. Even after watching the film, you know, I didn't agree with. You know, because there were some things that it is what it is. But, yeah, those are things that we just can't do. I mean, that's not very good. It doesn't reflect well on what we try to teach each and every day.
Is there anything you can do in practice to correct that?
You know, it's a fine line. I mean, I'm going to answer this question in a roundabout way on you. You know, when you get beat, you know, man, you want to go out there and, by gosh, your coaching instinct, hey, let's go out there, let's put the full pads on and let's get after it. You know, but you can't do that or you'll be worn out for the next game that comes up. And same thing with the penalties. You know, the only thing you can do is go out there and run stadium steps and you know, up down them and things of that nature. But you know, you're wasting time by doing those things. So something we focus on, we talk about, you know, all the time. I mean, you know, they know that defensive line knows that, you know, they're not supposed to move till that ball moves. You know, I mean, they're really, you know, we do get off drills all the time and hard counts and things of that nature. You know, the offensive line, they know that they can't move till the ball moves. You know, I mean, that's base football, and those are the things that we're not doing. You know, I don't know. It's hard to practice, you know, staying on sides.
Do you look far ahead? I know the next month, 2 home games, Austin being an off date. I mean, the schedule terms much more favorable for the next 4 weeks for you. It comes at a good time.
Well, I don't even know who we play after this week. There, they'll be honest with you. You know, and again, I'm just focused right now on putting together a good, concise game plan for Tennessee Tech. I think I alluded to it earlier. You know, we have the teams in front of us that are picked to be the guys to, you know, to win, and nothing against Eastern Illinois, and they may run the table. You know, we played SEMO the first year, and they were the second last place. We were last place, and you know, they win the game and they go on and win the conference title. But the chances for, you know, them to run the table against the rest of the competition, if it happens, man, they deserve it. So we got an opportunity to move forward and still control our own destiny. But it is all for naught unless we play well this week. And so, that's the big thing. We got to focus on what we do. A lot of times and again, you're sitting here offensively, we're in there racking our brains how to simplify some things, to quit jumping off sides and procedures and all that. The past 2 weeks, we've run close, probably an average of 105 plays. We've had 550 yards of offense. We've scored 28 and 49 points. There's a very fine line there of how to move forward.
You did have a 100-yard rushing game. You see making strides on the ground.
Yeah, well, we put a big emphasis on that, and we thought that we could do that. And I thought that Dwayne Brady continues to be very consistent back there for us, both catching the ball and running it. Barry has really come along. He had a wonderful game as well. And then Jordan Morrow, he's a guy that when he touches the ball, great things happen. And if there's one area that I think we can improve on is we got to get Jordan the ball more. I think he had 5 touches for 77 yards. So we just got to find ways to create opportunities with him because it's hard to rep 3 running backs throughout the course of the game. But, we're getting stellar play out of that position. If we can get that kind of play out of all the other positions, we'll be fine. But those guys, no doubt about it, they were the bright spot of the game as far as having a consistent effort for the entire ball game. Anybody else? Well, I appreciate you guys coming and appreciate you being in a good mood.